Good morning, everyone. I now call this meeting to order. I'd like to ask that if you address the board this morning, please come to the microphone and identify yourself. So by name, title, and institution. First off, we have some new faces here on the board. We have some new appointments, so I'd like to go ahead and introduce my fellow board members this morning. Al Brodell of Jonesboro, Kelly Erstein of North Little Rock, Chad Hooten of Little Rock, Dr. Kyle Miller of Helena, and we have two new board members joining us today, Mr. Lucas Pointer from Bentonville and Carolyn Reinhardt of Scranton. So thank you all for being here. Both Lucas and Carolyn, they received their information about the board that they had been chosen for this, appointed last week. So they were here on very short notice this morning. So we really appreciate them taking the time out of their schedules to be here. So before I turn it over to the Finance Committee, I'd like to call on Chancellor Cam Patterson for our welcome.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board, and those of you who are our distinguished guests here today. We are delighted to have you here. Most importantly, point of order: on your way out, please get a parking pass. It's in that basket right over there. Higher education is the pathway to the future of the state of Arkansas, and UAMS is delighted to be a party to that. Our mission is to improve health and healthcare in the state of Arkansas. We are proud that about 70% of the healthcare professionals in the state of Arkansas train here at UAMS. Regularly, year after year, our medical school is #1 or #2 in the country for retaining our students in state. And our new accelerated BSN program in Northwest Arkansas recently graduated its first class. 88% of our graduates stayed in state for their first job. We're one of only 8 academic medical centers in the country who are the lone academic medical center in our state, and we take that responsibility seriously, as do each of you. We welcome you here, and I'd like to introduce you to our Provost, Chief Academic Officer, and Chief Strategy Officer, and 30-plus year faculty member at UAMS, Dr. Stephanie Garner.
Thank you, Dr. Patterson, and I want to join him in welcoming each of you to UAMS today. As the state's only academic health sciences center, as the Chancellor indicated, we greatly appreciate the support of the Arkansas Department of Higher Education and this coordinating board. Our mission would not be possible without the support of you. As mentioned, we have a large academic enterprise with 62 certificate and degree programs, 3,000 students, and almost 900 resident physicians. So we are one of the primary sources of supply for health professions for the state. And this board's a partner to ensure that these programs remain strong, accredited, and that they meet the educational needs of our students. I want to say that one of our focuses is to make sure that we respond to workforce needs. And we, in the last couple of years, have opened a couple of programs that do exactly this. One is our 15-month accelerated Bachelor of Science in Nursing program up in Northwest Arkansas. I'm proud to say they just had their first class complete that program. And also we have a new program, a Doctor of Occupational Therapy program in Northwest Arkansas. And it's the first program that is a partnership with the University of Arkansas Fayetteville. We're very proud of that program as well. You may have also noticed a lot of new buildings as you drove in today, or if you've been a patient or visitor at UAMS, you've probably seen a lot of growth. We're super proud of that. We are going to have a tour if anybody wants to stay. I think we have a few of you signed up for that. If you just stay at the end, it won't be more than 30 minutes. We're going to take you, since it's raining, just to a couple of the buildings. We would like to show you our Cancer Institute and some of the growth on that side of campus. And also, if you'd like to see a taste of our educational facilities, we have a simulation lab tour as part of that. You'd be done in 30 minutes. If you want to participate, all you have to do is just stay in the room. You don't even need to sign up. The buildings that have opened this year, I just want to mention, you may have seen the large orthopedic and spine hospital right off the interstate. It's a 4-story hospital with much needed operating rooms, exam rooms, and resources for orthopedics. We also opened this summer at our Cancer Institute a new radiation oncology center, which houses the state's first proton center. And that is a partnership with Baptist Health, with also Arkansas Children's and Proton International. That facility only opened a few weeks ago, and I'm told they've already filled up their schedule. So we're already looking at how we grow that program. And in June, we opened a urology program out at Premier Medical Center in West Little Rock. I mention these facilities as part of this meeting because I want to point out that not only are they critical for clinical care for the state, but they are our classrooms too. Our students spend a good part of their curriculum in these buildings, really learning how to take care of patients and to be the next healthcare providers for our state. So I'll end that with just saying, once again, thank you for being here. I think this may be your first meeting on our campus, and it's a joy for us to host you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Gardner. We are going to do things just slightly different this morning because we only have 7 members present. We will not have a quorum for both of our committee meetings. Therefore, we will go into committee of the whole for both our finance and our academic committee. I now call the full board meeting to order. We're going to start off with action agenda item number 12, and that's the minutes of the June 29th, 2023 special meeting and July 28th, 2023 regular meeting, which begin on page 12.1 of your agenda book. Are there any questions or changes to these minutes? Okay. Do I hear a motion to approve the minutes of the June 29, 2023 special meeting and the July 28th, 2023 regular meeting?
I would move for the approval of those recordings.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Action agenda item number 13. At this time, I will present the appointment of the nominating committee for the 2024-25 board officers. I have asked that Mr. Al Brodell and Dr. Jim Carr serve on the appointment, serve on the nominating committee. Do I hear a motion to approve? Thank you.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Moving on to action agenda item number 14. At this time, I will present the 2024 coordinating board meeting schedule. We're going to start, our first meeting of the year will be January 26th, and that will be at National Park College in Hot Springs. So, April 26th will be at North Arkansas College in Harrison. In July 26th, we will meet at the University of Central Arkansas in Conway, and our final board meeting for 2024 will be scheduled for October 25th, and that will be at the University of Arkansas Community College in Batesville. Any questions? Do I hear a motion to approve the 2024 coordinating board meeting schedule?
So move.
Thank you. Second? Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Okay. Information agenda item number 15. Dr. Ken Warden will present the commissioner's report.
Well, good morning. Thank you for being this morning. Thank you for your service, particularly for our new members for being here on such short notice. We appreciate you. I want to begin by thanking Ms. Nicole for all her help and work over the last few months, pulling this together for us this morning, and always our staff that are here this morning who do such good work day to day to keep our division on the right track and support our institutions and the state and the students that we're trying to support. I'll begin my report this morning by recognizing Dr. Russell Jones. He's been named the acting interim president of Arkansas Tech University by the ATU Board of Trustees. Dr. Jones joined ATU in July of 2020 as the Dean of the College of Business, which has since been renamed the ATU College of Business and Economic Development. Also in the tech system, Dr. Sheila Jacobs is serving as interim chancellor at Arkansas Tech University Ozark campus, and she's been in that role since July 1. She's served as a chief academic officer at Tech Ozark since 2019, and Jacobs succeeds Bruce Sykes, who retired on June 30 after 10 years of service as the ATU Ozark chancellor. As you may know, Engage Arkansas and the Arkansas AmeriCorps program falls under the purview of the Division of Higher Education, and Engage Arkansas is celebrating with AmeriCorps on their 30-year anniversary. It's in partnership with the Clinton Center, Voices for National Service, America's Service Commissions, and the AmeriCorps state and national programs. The president appointed CEO of AmeriCorps and President Clinton are in town this week, along with several other representatives. And President Clinton is the one who passed the original legislation in 1993 that created AmeriCorps, and we're happy to have them in town and to recognize the great work that's been going on and will continue to go on through AmeriCorps. I think we have a lot of opportunities with AmeriCorps to leverage this great work and volunteerism back to our institutions of higher education. It's one of the goals that I have personally, is to see how we can get our AmeriCorps folks better directly involved in our higher education institutions. So we're happy to celebrate with them. Here's a fun thing that we did this week. The department hosted Arkansas Career Pathways Initiatives directors and colleges marketing staff. We hosted CPI's directors and college marketing staff at a workshop on the 23rd and 24th to discuss how the Career Pathways Initiative could be used as a recruiting tool to increase enrollment. So marketing experts provided technical assistance leading up to our Shark Tank pitches, which happened this week at the event. The panel of sharks were volunteers from U.S. Bank, Arkansas Travelers, City of North Little Rock, and the Arkansas Department of Education. So based on decisions of those sharks, six colleges will receive supplemental funding to implement a variety of outreach activities. The overall winning proposal was from ATU Ozark, to fund 3 family fun day events to attract potential students with children. Having children is a core tenet to being part of the Career Pathways Initiative. You have to be a custodial, non-custodial parent to receive those wraparound services. Other institutions, including National Park College, Black River Technical College, Ozarka College, UA Cossatot, and ASU Three Rivers will also receive funding. Activities range from on-campus events focused on children and parents, kindergarten parties to reach parents, partnerships with local movie theaters showing family-friendly movies, and digital and social media marketing campaigns. So we're proud to celebrate them and recognize Tech Ozark as the winners of the Shark Tank event. Lastly, I want to talk just a little bit about our role and scope. The division is required to review role and scope designations for our public institutions at least once every 5 years. This spring, we began work with the National Center for Higher Education Management Systems, NCHEMS, to develop a draft report. The report was sent out to our institutions to collect feedback 2 weeks ago and get their input and their thoughts on the draft report and recommendations. The deadline for the feedback is actually the close of business today. And once we get that feedback, code those responses, we'll revise the report to ensure that it accurately reflects our higher education landscape across the state, and we plan to publish the final report before the end of the academic year. So with that, I conclude my report. Are there any questions or comments that I could answer?
I just want to say thank you for your work. You've hit the ground running since you came into this position, and I know you've already visited several campuses. You've presented a paper at a national conference and represented Arkansas in that way, and we just appreciate all you're doing across the state.
I'm humbled and honored to serve. Thank you.
Dr. Ward, could I make one personal privilege here, if I may? I saw we had some introductions.
Yes, sir, please.
I want to also introduce a longtime friend of mine who is the interim chancellor at Henderson State University. And that is Dr. Bob Fisher. And I will say that I first knew Dr. Fisher when I was the student government president back in the dark ages at UCA. And he was a new College of Business faculty member there, but he was our student advisor. I had hair back then and his was not gray. So I want to also welcome Dr. Fisher.
Yes, sir. Dr. Fisher, thank you. We're sure glad to have you. Appreciate you. Oh, we headed back? Okay, well, I think we didn't get him in time to make the board book, but we'll certainly recognize him in January. So thank you for pointing that out.
So information agenda item number 16. Dr. Ken Warren will present the annual report on the credentials awarded.
So Ms. Hazelwood is a little under the weather today, so I'll go ahead and present the statewide trends and the credentials. So as you see on your slide in that says 2014, but I think that was supposed to say, 2014, we had 36,150 students received 41,000 credentials in 2023. So a 10-year difference. We had 40,000 students receive 50,000 credentials, about 11.8%. The number of students receiving credentials, but a 20.9 increase in the number of credentials awarded. So we have more credentials awarded per student, if that makes sense. Here's the breakdown of credentials by credential type. A certificate of proficiency being requiring the least number of credit hours to produce, and then up into bachelor's degrees. You do see growth over the years through certificates of proficiencies. Technical certificates are up and down, but a little more on par. And then you see associate degrees again is pretty flat, and a reduction in the number of bachelor degrees. Anecdotal, I think that we've seen our shorter term degrees rebound quicker after COVID than we have. I think we see the downturn in bachelor degrees. We hope to see that pick back up. I think that may be a lagging effect of COVID, as those take 4 years to produce. You see in 2021, the number is up. That was folks probably finishing up during COVID, but now you see as they're trending kind of downward of how maybe we lack some participation, and that's also down in the number of the bachelor's degrees. This slide shows statewide graduate credential trends, also in graduate and post-bac degrees. So we've seen some, fair growth, particularly in master degrees recently. And here's credentials awarded by institutions type. Total is on the left, and then the number awarded by our 4-year, 2-year privates, and then nursing and technical schools. We have 3 schools there that represent 2 nursing schools, 1 Baptist Health, 1 Jefferson School of Nursing, and then NWTI is included in that far right column as well. Happy to field any questions. There are more detailed slides in your booklet that if you have any questions on those, or you want to we want to, take a deeper dive on those at the next meeting or any other time, we're happy to do that as well.
Dr. Warden, on the certificate of proficiencies, it shows that numbers show year-over-year growth, especially from 2022 to 2023. But when I looked at the breakdown from 2 years and 4 years, it looked like those numbers had actually dropped. Is that increase due to concurrent students, or?
So the institutional awards, let me look at that. My color coding off. Say again, can you ask the question, please, again?
So on the statewide, the undergraduate credential trends,
Mm-hmm.
16.2, it shows that there's an increase in certificates of proficiency.
Yeah,
But then when you go to the breakdown of it, it looks like they drop at a public 2 years. Is it the 4
so you
years?
see about a 300, a number of 300 more credentials produced. If you look at the four-year universities there, you have about 500 produced in the four-year universities. So some of those could be hidden there where you see a drop of there in the 2 years, but also slightly up in the independent. So
Okay.
I can certainly circle back with you on more detail
Uh-huh.
about what, so we can find the exact points of where the differentiation is.
That was just something I was curious about when looking through this. Any other questions?
I will say also on those certificates of proficiency, recently, we have seen more chunking or of curriculum into smaller bites. I think that is a win for our institutions and for students. We see more students swirling, as we say, that are coming in, picking up a credential, then going back to work, or then coming back and picking them up. I think that's, it's kind of it's a new trend. It's not that new. It's been around for a decade or so. So, and with students wanting to get to work quicker, or maybe not willing to take the time or invest the money all at one chunk to get to it, building these credentials in stackable and, so they can get them in shorter terms, maybe go to work and come back in and build one on the other to get to their final degree attainment, whatever they want that to be. They may not be ready to go the full route to a bachelor's degree at any point in time, but it's important that we stack those so that when they're ready, they don't have to back up to go forward. They continue to build up. And I think that's been demonstrated by some of the models that we have discussed in the academic community today. You see some of that. And I think it's a positive thing for our students.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Information agenda item number 17. Mr. Mason Campbell will present the report on academic program status.
As the board knows, the Academic Affairs Office receives notifications from our institutions of their intent to add, delete, or otherwise modify academic programs throughout the year, and we present these changes to the board at each quarterly meeting. Previously, this particular report only focused on program deletions, but we've expanded the report to include all program status changes. So academic programs can have any of these 6 status changes, which, with the exception of fully deleted programs, are all noted on the institutions and ADHE's official approved programs list. And I want to clarify what we mean by academic programs for this report, because these days we often consider multiple stacked credentials to be a single program. But for this report, we're considering each individual credential to be a program when we look at these numbers. This slide and the next few focus only on academic year 23, and then we'll move into a look at a historical 5-year period. In AY 23, institutions added a total of 176 new programs. 21 of those were new program proposals. 155 were done through letters of notifications. Institutions deleted or phased out 107 and inactivated 26 academic programs. This is a look at status changes at all public 4-year institutions in AY 23. The blue color is program additions. The red is program deletions. Green is inactivations, but no 4-year institutions used inactive status last year. UALR and ATU added the most programs last year. UCA, ASU, and UAFS deleted the most. And similarly, a look at status changes for all 2-year public institutions. Again, blue is additions, red is deletions. Green is in activations. East Arkansas College and SAU Tech both had the most deletions and additions last year. And then for the next few slides, we'll take a look at status changes over the past 5 years. Clearly, oh no, I'm so sorry. This is not that one yet. This graphic shows status changes by award type. The Certificate of Proficiency and Technical Certificate award type experienced the most program status changes, which we would consider to be appropriate and expected, if you will. And then this table shows a breakdown of program status changes by zip code. And as with all the changes so far, we've separated out additions and deletions. These are ordered by the program SIP groups with the most changes. We just wanted to show groups with the most adjustment overall. And the SIP groups with the most adjustment were business, health professions, computer and information sciences, engineering, and education. Okay. And now for the next few slides, we'll take a look at status changes over the past 5 years. Clearly, the blue line shows a COVID dip for program additions back in 2020 and 2021 with a sharp rebound for academic year 22. The red line shows that same COVID impact was a bit delayed, but program deletions are back on the rise now. And historically, program activations were not used very often, but are becoming a more popular option because it allows institutions to place a program essentially on hold for up to 5 years as long as no students are in that program. Okay. The next 3 charts show all public institutions over a 5-year period. And I also want to highlight for the next few charts that they do not consider the institution's size and total number of active academic programs. You'll notice fairly drastic variability in the color bars as you look across institutions. Very few institutions make status changes at steady rates. Most have years of significant activity for changes and then years of very little activity. So first, this chart is only displaying the number of program additions at each institution. So over the past 5 years, Black River Tech, ASU Jonesboro, and UA Fayetteville have added the most programs. This graphic shows only program deletions over that same 5-year period. Again, not indicative of an institution's size or number of active academic programs. UALR, UCA, and ASU Jonesboro deleted the most programs over the past 5 years. And this chart shows inactivations over a 5-year period, not used very frequently at the moment. Okay, similar to the table we looked at before that showed the zip code groups with the most changes just for 1 year. This chart is looking back over a 5-year period. We still see basically the same zip code groups rise to the top. These are just the top 10. The full list is available in the board book. And finally, this table shows the actual number of active academic programs within each SIP category for each year over a 5-year period. And our hope was that this would indicate broadly whether certain types of programs are growing or declining across the state and over time. The last 2 columns are just comparing AY19 and AY23. And we just grabbed, I think, 12 of the more active ones to display. We just picked those out, but the full list of all SIP categories, 2-digit SIP categories, are listed in the board book. And I'd be happy to answer any questions.
If I may, Chair. Mr. Campbell, this is a lot of great information, and as I digest it, want to make sure I'm taking it in correctly.
Yes, sir.
So as we see additions and deletions, some rate of that is healthy.
Yes.
I'm not aware of what really to make of this according to any standard or any objective measure. As I take a look at it, I think some of these rise to the top because they have a change in the field or a need to progress. Am I on the right track with that, or is there something that I'm not missing in this data, or that I am missing in this data?
Absolutely. It's very hard to draw a standard line across all of these. So we really just have to look at the conditions of each institution, the regions. I would pay attention to institutions with, large, huge numbers in any single year, or institutions that have adjusted little to none over a long period of time. And it doesn't necessarily mean that there's anything wrong there. Those programs could still be very healthy, but those are the kind of things that we just want to make sure everybody's looking at.
Wonderful. Thank you for that.
Mhm.
Oh. Moving on to information agenda item number 18, Mr. Campbell will present the concurrent enrollment report for us this morning.
Thank you, Chair Bigger. The concurrent enrollment report, which for us, we also call end of year report. This slide is just for context, taking a look at all college students enrolled across private 2-year and 4-year public sectors. 4-year institutions, as you all know, enrolled almost twice as many students, college students, as our 2-year colleges. We're looking only at concurrent student enrollment for AY23 across private 2-year and 4-year sectors. 2-year institutions are the primary producers of concurrent enrollment and credit, enrolling approximately 65% of all concurrent students. This slide provides a look at grade distribution across general education, career and technical ed, and any course classified as other, which would include, but it's not limited to, AP and concurrent blended types of courses. So success rates across all types are very strong. CT courses dip slightly, but still shows very strong student success rates. This slide and the next are just for some more context as we move into the next few. Wanted you to see that overall enrollment of high school students flattened off and then dipped a little bit in 2021, but has been steadily on the rise since. And then similarly, but just slightly delayed, college enrollment was on a slight decline. And we hope may have bottomed out in 2022 and then leveled off and is slowly on the rise. And I think and hope, based on preliminary enrollment numbers, that for the current year, that we'll see even more increases in next year's report. And then for concurrent enrollment specifically, while 4-year institutions have sort of leveled off, the 2-year institutions have rebounded significantly over the past 2 years to levels higher than 2019. And then to show trends in some student success rates, much like the other slides, 2021 shows a slight dip in general ed course success rate. This is looking just at general ed, but is still very high at over 91% this current year. And then this slide and the next, I want to note that the years have flipped. So your most current years on the left. And then similarly, success rates dip slightly in AY21 for CTE courses. And while rates are not quite as high as they were in AY29, overall enrollment numbers have increased by almost 4,000 students for CTE courses. And then finally, we wanted to include some analysis beyond simple course success rates for students who take concurrent course or current credit. This table shows the college-going rates and fall-to-fall retention rates for college-going high school graduates who took concurrent credit and college-going high school graduates who did not take concurrent credit. So you see the college-going rate for AY21 was at 42%, and 51.8% of those students took concurrent, while 48.2% did not. And for that same cohort, the fall-to-fall retention rate for students who took concurrent was almost 15 points higher at 79.7% than students who did not take concurrent credit at 64.8%. And finally, this table takes a look at credential completion for 3 different cohort years, allowing for 150% time to degree. For 2016, we see that Higher percentages of students who took concurrent credit completed a credential at 59.3%. A more than 18-point difference from students who do not take concurrent credit at 40.7. And we see similar trends looking specifically at bachelor degree completion rates for students who took concurrent courses. And that concludes my report. Just a quick note that the board book includes a number of appendices on institutional concurrent accreditation, memorandums of understanding, which we have on file in our offices, and tuition and scholarship amounts charged to students. Any questions?
Mr. Campbell, just for my own, I guess, personal good here. So help me out a little bit as far as, is there any idea as far as the percentage of a state's population, how Arkansas ranks in concurrent students versus other states?
I do not have an idea right now. I know that other than what our Secretary of Education has said with the strength of his previous state, I know Arkansas has some opportunity with concurrent education, and Commissioner Ward and I have been working very closely on how to leverage that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the other question is, and I should know this and I don't. So, so when it comes to a faculty member teaching in a, let's say, for example, a high school to a concurrent class, so are there academic requirements for that particular faculty member?
Yes, sir. We require the same as any other higher education faculty member. So master's degree in 18 hours in their field of instruction.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions? Thank you. Moving on to information agenda item number 19. Mr. Campbell will present the annual status report for sexual assault prevention on campus.
Thank you, Chair Bigger. Under Act 563 of 2017, the Arkansas Higher Coordinating Board requires institutions to develop an action plan to address the prevention of sexual assault on college and university campuses. The plan includes a wide variety of prevention efforts, such as embedding prevention information into advising, student orientation, and academic courses, to identify opportunities to increase awareness across the entire student population, to identify grants to assist and to collaborate with external sources for access to care. For the 2022-2023 academic year, all institutions have submitted a plan to AHECB, and those institutional reports are on file, and staff can provide copies of them upon request. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. And then finally, information agenda item number 20, Mr. Campbell will present the unplanned pregnancy prevention annual report.
Thank you, Chair Bigger. Under Act 943 of 2015, Higher Ed Coordinating Board was directed to develop an action plan to address unplanned pregnancies on college campuses. Legislation directs higher ed institutions in 9 areas, including the development of methods of addressing the issue through incorporating information into coursework, to collaborate with healthcare centers to identify measures of the success of programming. The legislation also specifically mandates that campuses include resources information in their student orientations on the prevention of unplanned pregnancy. The agency has collected reports from all public institutions. Reports show that campuses are in compliance with this act. Implementation reports are all digital, and so they will be posted. Some of those will be posted to the AHECB website for campuses to look at, as they can use for additional ways to address this important issue. And it concludes my report.
Any questions? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Campbell. The next item on our agenda is an action item number 21. The Arkansas Higher Education Coordinating Board bylaws, which begin on page 21-1 of your agenda book. Several of these are minor changes, and most are aligning with wording with current statutes, such as changing department to division, director to commissioner. These came out of the last legislative session. However, the most substantial change is redefining the quorum. The amended bylaws now say at all meetings of the coordinating board, one member more than 50% of the current number of slated members shall constitute a quorum for the transaction of business. So that's changed from 7 to 50% plus one. Any other questions? On updates to the bylaws? Do I hear a motion to approve the amended Arkansas Higher Education Coordinating Board bylaws?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. At this time, Kelly Erstein will present the report of the Finance Committee.
I'll do it correctly this time. So the Finance Committee has reviewed agenda item 1, and we recommend the approval of agenda items 2 through 4.
Thank you. Do I hear a second to approve agenda items 2 through 4 based on the Finance Committee's report? Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. And now Al Brodell will present the report of the Academic Committee.
Chair Bigger, the Academic Committee has reviewed items 10 and 11, and we recommend the approval of agenda items 5 through 9.
Thank you. Do I hear a second to approve agenda items 5 through 9 based on the Academic Committee's report? Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. And then as we wrap up today's meeting, we now open the floor to any presidents and chancellors who wish to address the board. Y'all must be hungry. Just a couple of announcements. The next quarterly meeting will be January 26, 2024 at National Park College in Hot Springs. Box lunches have been generously provided and are available at the conclusion of the meeting. And again, we want to thank Dr. Cam Patterson and his staff for hosting us this morning. So thank you so much for today's meeting. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?